What's going on, guys? It is MadManPlant. We are back at MJBizCon, day number 3. This is the last day, and it's a sad day because that means tomorrow I have to go back to my normal life. But I got Crystal here with Free My Weed Man, and we were just over at 40 tons. We've talked a lot about equality, equity, small, micro. Tell us a little bit about Free My Weed Man and why this is such a great thing for people moving forward, rehabilitation, and really helping others get back to their lives.
Yeah. So Free My Weed Man is an advocacy organization. It's based out of Pennsylvania, where we organize rallies, expungements, and town halls. But it was birthed out of a place of us just a collective of different people just looking to join into the legal industry, but yet we were being criminalized for this. Many of us, we had social lounges, we were doing events here back in Philly, and I remember October 21st, this was when MJBizCon was in October of 2021. While I was attending here, my house was raided, so I'm watching on a doorbell camera my house being raided for 10 pounds of CBD. Here it was, I was having events back home, and I was being a target while I was here trying to get the education and the resources and the partnerships to really get into the legal industry. So Free My Weed Man was an outcry. I didn't get into this industry thinking that I was going to really be an advocate, but in order to be an advocate, in order to be a business owner, you got to be an advocate. You got to advocate for what it is that you stand for, what it is that what's missing, and let's be real. Black people are 4 or 5, sometimes 6 times more likely than whites to be sent to prison for this plant. So while we are sitting here, celebrating and winning awards and creating the next innovative product, we got to give back and amplify the people who are victims of this war.
I love what you said. There's a lot of cool things I want to touch on. One of them is today, or this time at MJBizCon, we have Equity Row,
Yes.
which is a great place for plant over pills. We got 1937, we got Free My Weed Man, we got 40 tons. And I think you did touch on a really great point, is we have to pay homage to those who have either lost their lives or lost their time or been away from their families, because those are the true fighters of this, and those are the generational steps that we've taken, that we've sacrificed to get where we are. Nobody dreams of doing something for the better good and then having their house raided and
Right.
watching that on camera. Talk about how that felt and what that meant to you as a person when you're out here trying to do good. It's so warped in a way.
Yeah, I felt violated. Here I felt, to be honest, I was really looking at my doorbell camera. I felt violated. I felt angry. Let's be real. This cannabis industry is such a beautiful plant, but I feel like it's being used to weaponize us and to really disrupt us and to separate us. So to have Equity Row and to give opportunities to people who've been impacted by this war on drugs, to give us opportunity and access, it's amazing to be here, to be a part of this row where I can walk over to 1937, I can walk over to 40 tons and, just have that conversation and how it feels good to just all be here collectively.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. So I love to see it. I'm so thankful to even just be a part, to be here, just spreading this mission. Because we definitely got to highlight and amplify those people.
Now, we talked a lot about incarceration and the fact that blacks have 5 to 6 times more likely to be incarcerated. What does that mean for a culture for you guys, and how do you guys set the standard on breaking that? Because it's not right. Everybody should be judged equally, and you see that in politics. You saw a president's son just get acquitted of all charges.
Mm-hmm.
If that was any one of us, we would be in drug rehab programs, we'd lose our kids, we'd lose our jobs, we'd be isolated, outcast. How is your culture fighting back in ways to prove that, one, this is wrong, and two, that you can't just target one group and say that it's only this?
One, I think it starts with us empowering ourselves. I think as a culture, this has been happening for over 5-6 decades, since slavery, to be honest. But it starts with us empowering ourselves. Many of us, we don't even know that we are victims. And if we don't know that we are victims, then how do we know what we could benefit from?
Damn.
We don't even know that we even qualify for a social equity program because no one told us. We've been criminalized. We're scared. We're fearful to even smoke. cannabis. My aunts are scared to even have a conversation about cannabis. They don't even see this as a medicine because it has been weaponized and it disrupted our entire families, our communities. I'm talking about children in foster care.
Yes, yes.
Parents are in prison. The education, like parents not being able to get a job, not even being able to get housing.
Yep.
Like it disrupted us. So we deserve this. And I want to see it continue to happen, and not just shouting free my weed man, but like the entire family that been impacted by this. Like it's just not the weed man. I was a social worker, I was like, my job, my role was to go into hospitals and remove children from the home. And I think when we talk about jobs, we got to be intentional about the work that we want to do in the jobs that we do. Because sometimes we may be taking on a role, but that role is to continue to further the agenda of this whole war on drugs. And I didn't know that until I stepped away from being a social worker to realizing that, I was used to continue this mess. So it's like, we got to be intentional with the positions and the roles that we take on and really do the good work and not just do it for a show.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said,
Sorry, I get passionate.
No, I love the passion. This makes great conversation, right. Great content, because it's real, it's authentic. And that's why companies like yours or is it a nonprofit company?
Yes.
Great. 501c3 are so impactful because it's built not on business, it's built on passion. Now talk about what that does as a social worker when you go in and remove a child from hospitals and stuff like that. What are the trauma impacts to somebody? And is it mostly just because of weed? Have you ever removed somebody because it's not just because of weed, or is it?
Yeah, I mean you remove them for multiple different reasons, but I think what we gotta address is the root cause. Like, I'm going, my brother right now maybe get locked up for a violent crime, but his first charge back in the 90s was because of cannabis. Yeah. So even when we talk about non-violent, cannabis prisoners, like, what about the violent ones? Like, someone could have been driving down the street and then they get pulled over and there's a gun in the car and then it's cannabis, but it was the cannabis that actually gave them a probable cause to search it's traumatic. We're scared, we're fearful, and it's hard for us to even take advantage of the opportunities that are out there because it already been weaponized. The damage has already been done.
No, when you say weaponized, I definitely agree because I see a lot of divide, especially in content creators and brands and other companies. And I think the biggest thing that we deal with is we have to realize that this is like a village, a community, and it has to be built together. And we have to stop being fearful of this guy's going to take my idea or this guy's going to do the same thing I'm doing. Because like you said, I do feel the weaponization. You see it in the media, you see it in tabloids, you see it across the boards. Oh, fuck this company, oh, do this, whatever. No, but that company is a part of this industry, a part of this culture, Everything's based on culture and lifestyle, and this is the lifestyle in the cannabis space. And I think the biggest thing is, I think when you remove the possibility of better than or monies and you come out of true passion, I think that's when we break the stigma. That's when we come together, but not until we realize that it's more than just monetization. It's more than that. And that's why, me personally, I would love to get involved with Free My Women. I live in Virginia, so to come up to Pennsylvania is not too far.
Please.
But I've done all these podcasts, and now I want to be a volunteer. I want to be an advocate. I want to go speak. I want to go capture. I want to go use media, just like I'm with you, to show people that they're wrong. Because as I've never been incarcerated for cannabis, but I have been, I almost was not allowed to be a Freemason because I smoked a joint in front of somebody. I got removed as the den leader for my entire scout group because I smelled like weed. I've been kicked out of several motorcycle clubs. Wow. I've been ostracized in a lot of different communities for smoking, so maybe I haven't spent time in jail, but I have definitely faced discrimination and stigmatization by people for being open about weed use. And I think Free My Weed Man is a great narrative, obviously focused on incarcerated people, people that paid the ultimate price, their time, their livelihood, their families, everything. Mine's so minute, but also the people that have ever lost something or been removed from something just because you're a user. And I think that also sets a new precedent that this is a continued man-made war on drugs, that this is stigmatized by us, for us, and like FUBU in a way, you know what I mean? And the only reason this exists is because, like you said, when you were a social worker, I was used. I was part of the narrative. I was conditioned to think that this was okay, and then stepping outside of that and seeing the bigger picture. Talk about clarity now and the overall reality of what we're really looking at.
Yeah, I think so after my house was raided back in 2021 while I was at MJBiz, I had the opportunity to slow down, and I think sometimes we got to slow down. I intentionally got into this industry because I was in transportation before this, so I thought that I was going to get a delivery service. You know, I had all these high expectations, but then once I was able to slow down and just take like inventory of my own life and what I wanted my purpose to be, and I felt like God was using me. So although what I thought was I was at my lowest, God was really preparing me to go out and help others.
Yes.
So I think a lot of times we are in spaces where we are thinking that we're losing, when really God is preparing us for something greater and something more purposeful. And I think that's how Free My Weed Man, like, a lot of this work is hard, somebody got to do it. Somebody has to really shed light on the reality of what's happening, but it really takes time, it takes resources, and we really just got to be we really just got to come together. That's really what it is. We got to come together to just support the entire agenda, and it can't, like you said, it can't be about money. It has to be about the medicinal properties. It got to get back to the community and the people who really built this up.
That is awesome, and it's the truth. Now, to wrap this up, because I want to get you back to your booth, how can we support a weed man, and what can we do to further educate the community?
So definitely follow Free My Weed Man on all platforms. In our link tree, we got petitions where those petitions we are advocating for people who's incarcerated. One in particular, Joseph Akers, he's serving 16 years at FCI Fort Dix for cannabis. So sign those petitions, write them, stay connected. We are drafting the language in Pennsylvania to move forward our adult use. But yeah, we organize rallies, we host expungements, so definitely just tap in with us as we continue to organize.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being on the podcast. Thank you for everything you do. You're a huge advocate to your own culture, pioneering it, and it's amazing for somebody like you who has suffered so much and been a victim yourself to be able to come out here and be a hero, and you're shedding light on other people, and it was what we need in this community, because at the end of the day, I want to get to myself where I can go outside, smoke a joint, nobody says a damn thing or even looks at me differently, and I just go back into the restaurant. And I think everybody else agrees with that. So thank you for all that you do for your community, because you are a rock star.
Thank you.
Guys, we got more podcasts coming your way. We will see you very, very soon.